Hi everyone! In this video, we will find the least common denominator of rational expressions. Find the least common denominator for 2 divided by 3b squared plus 5b minus 28 and 5b divided by 3b squared plus 20b minus 63. The first thing we need to do is factor the two denominators so that we can see all of the factors that we need for the least common denominator. In the first one, we have a number at a, so we'll go ahead and use the AC method. A is 3, so we have 3, times c, which is negative 28. 3 times negative 28 is negative 84. Let's find all the factors of 84. This is 1 times 84, 2 times 42, 3 times 28, 4 times 21, not 5 but 6 will go in, 6 times 14, and 7 times 12, and that's it. So now let's go through and look at the signs of our trinomial. The negative at the end tells me that our two factors will be different signs. One will be positive and one will be negative, which we know because we know it needs to equal a negative 84. Then we look at the middle term, which is positive. That tells us that the larger of the two factors will be positive. So if we put a positive all along the larger factors and a negative along all of the smaller factors, now we need to find a combination that will give us positive 5. And it looks like this one at the end of minus 7 plus 12 will give us positive 5. So we replace that, and we have 3b squared minus 7b plus 12b, both of those replacing our positive 5b, minus 28. Now we need to factor by grouping, so we'll group the first two and the last two. The first two, the greatest common factor between those is just b. So we have 3b minus 7, and the greatest common factor between 12b and negative 28 is a positive 4, leaving us with 3b minus 7. Now that we've factored out the greatest common factor, we have two terms now, and we factor out the greatest common factor again, and in this case, it's the binomial 3b minus 7. Once we factor that out, we're left with b plus 4. We've now completely factored the first denominator, so now we need to factor the second one. We look at all three terms, and there's not a greatest common factor that we can take out of all three of those, so we'll go ahead and factor using the AC method. The a is 3, and the c is negative 63. Multiplying those together, we get negative 189. Now we'll find all the factors of 189 to add together to see if we can get positive 20, our middle term. We have 1 and 189. 2 won't go in, but 3 will. 3 times 63. 4 won't go in, neither will 5 or 6, but 7 will. 7 times 27. 8 won't, but 9 will. 9 times 21, and 10 and 11. It looks like we're done. That's the last of our factors. Now let's go look at our signs. The negative at the end tells us that the two factors that we have will have different signs, one positive, one negative. The addition sign here for the middle term tells us that the larger factor will be positive. So let's make all of our larger factors positive and all our smaller factors negative. And now we need to find a combination to give us positive 20. And it looks like we have one right here. Negative 7 plus 27 gives us positive 20. So we can replace that 20b with our minus 7b plus 27b. So we have b squared minus 7b plus 27b minus 63. Now we'll go ahead and factor by grouping. In the first two, the greatest common factor is b. So we have 3b minus 7. And the greatest common factor in the second two is 9. So we'll factor out a positive 9, leaving us with 3b minus 7. Now that we've factored out the greatest common factor, we have two binomials, or two terms, and we'll factor out the greatest common factor, which is the binomial 3b minus 7. Factoring it out of both binomials, we are left with b plus 9. Now we have factored both of the binomials. We're looking for the least common denominator. So we're going to find all of the factors of both of them, but we don't want to duplicate any factors. One way to do this is to line them up. For the first denominator, we have 3b minus 7 and b plus 4. For the second denominator, our factors are 3b minus 7. We don't have b plus 4, but we do have b plus 9. Now we're going to find all of those that are in common. Here we have one in common, so we only need one of these, 3b minus 7. The b plus 4 is all alone, so we need one of those, b plus 4. And the last one, b plus 9, there's only one of those, so we will take the b plus 9. And there we go. Our least common denominator is 3b minus 7 times b plus 4 times b plus 9. And we're all done.